Welcome. In a significant administrative move, like you just heard from River State, two commissioners in the River State government have been redeployed or were redeployed by the state governor, Siminalayi Fubara. And we hear that those commissioners are key loyalists of former Governor Nyesom Wike. This, of course, redeployment affected the following commissioners: Zacchaeus Adango was the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General in River State. He served in the same capacity under the former governor's administration. Now, the second man is Isaac Kamalu. Isaac Kamalu was a Commissioner for Finance. He also served in the same capacity in the Nyesom Wike administration. Now, while Adango was redeployed by Governor Fubara to the Ministry of Special Duties at the governor's office, Kamalu was transferred to the Ministry of Employment Generation and Economic Empowerment. The two ministries different from what they occupied before. Both men were among a group of 9 commissioners, if you remember, who resigned en masse in December last year during the heated political battle between FCT Minister and former Governor of River State, Nyesom Wike, and his successor as Rivers Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, only to be reappointed following President Bola Tinubu's intervention. Remember, they signed an 11-point agreement in Abuja. Now, barely 24 hours after the redeployment, both men tendered their resignation, outrightly rejecting, in their words, they said they rejected the governor's move. That's the redeployment. Now, in his resignation letter, Isaac Kamalu disagreed with Governor Fubara on the internally generated revenue of River State. Now, if you recall, Governor Fubara last week claimed that River State's IGR had increased from 11 billion naira under Nyesom Wike to 27 billion naira in 1 year of his administration. That's Fubara's administration. That's a jump of over 100%. Now, Fubara has this week been stripped of his power to appoint local government caretaker committees by the River State House of Assembly. And today's development, marks the latest twist in the political battle between Wike and Fubara. Now, while some view this as a consolidation of power by the River State governor, others see it as an opportunity for fresh perspectives and collaboration in governance. The reshuffle is expected to bring renewed vigor, some would have said, to the government's efforts to address critical issues in River State. Well, tonight, we have joining us on the program the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communication in River State. I'm talking about Wari Senibo Joe Johnson. He joins us via video link. Mr. Johnson, good evening to you. Thank you very kindly for your time. Also, we have a public affairs analyst and, of course, a lawyer who is also joining us from River State via video link. And I'm talking about Mr. Sogbe Eli. Mr. Eli, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, Kofi. It's good to see you again.
Yes, it's good to see you indeed. It's good to see you. I trust that all is well in Port Harcourt. Let's start by taking your reaction to the redeployment of these commissioners, the key commissioners in River State. They've been there for some time. So what's your reaction to their redeployment by Governor Fubara?
Is that question to me?
Yes, it is to you.
Okay. My reaction will be, it's a procedural thing. And I do not know why there has to be so much of hula-bala about these things these days. The governor of River State, like every other governor, has the right to hire whosoever he deems fits to play a particular role or the other in his cabinet. And it's also incumbent on him to reshuffle his cabinet, dissolve it, or howsoever make it over as he thinks fit, provided it's in accordance with the powers conferred on him by the Constitution and the mandate of Rivers people. How it's turned out to be some drama goes back to the issues that we're contending with there. Again, I'm mindful to say this. Some of these political interventions don't work because they don't address the issues of justice as allowed by law. For instance, when this whole crisis began in Rivers State between the current governor and immediate past governor, who is now using his foot soldiers, as it were, to destabilize the current administration and distract it. If the president allowed the constitution to take its course, rather than applying political solutions, probably would have put all this behind us by now. Otherwise, it's unheard of anywhere in the world that an appointing authority has no power to vary or howsoever shuffle his cabinet. I can't understand.
Okay.
Kofi, don't forget, these same commissioners, one of them actually taught me evidence law in the law faculty, Professor Zacchaeus Adango, learned senior advocate of Nigeria, and the Knight of St. Christopher. At the time he taught me, he wasn't a professor anyway, but of course, I was a senior lecturer. And I known him to be a man of firm character. That's what he taught us. But politics has a way of doing damage to people. I don't want to run the judgment on him, but I could resign initially from the onset. I would have thought that that would have been it. Instead of returning to the cabinet and then seeking to dictate to your employer how he runs his system, what role you play and what role you cannot play. Both at the federal level and the state level were not strangers to this reshufflement of cabinets.
So what you're saying is it's normal in governance, especially in Rivers State. Thank you, Sogbeela. I want to come to what you said about Joe Johnson. Honorable Commissioner, thank you for your time. What is the reason? Give us a reason for Governor Fubara, through the Secretary to the State Government, or government, redeploying these commissioners. We know Adango is a lawyer, a very senior lawyer at that, just like Sogbeela said, and he was redeployed to a ministry under the governor's office. Kamalu has been in finance and budgeting for years. He was employed to a Ministry of Employment Generation. Why?
Well, the position of a commissioner is such that the governor is at the discretion, or is at the discretion of the governor to choose where any of his appointees will go to. Professor Adango is not the only lawyer in this cabinet. The SSG is also a PhD holder in law, and there is SSG, and I know that Chris Green, Barrister Chris Green, is also a lawyer, he's in sports. So it's at the discretion of the governor as to who goes to anywhere. So if you do not feel comfortable going to wherever your principal has decided, the best thing to do is what they have done, and I must commend them.
Okay, you're commending them for resigning. But please, give us the official position, the official reason why Governor Fubara decided at this time to redeploy these two individuals.
It's for optimum performance now. I am Commissioner for Information today, yes. Tomorrow, of course, I'm sure you knew me in the sports industry. You knew I was general manager of Dolphins. And today it has pleased His Excellency that I should go to information. If perhaps tomorrow he finds me worthy to go to any other ministry, it's discretionary. And I have no right to query.
But is there a reason, apart from this discretionary? I'm sure the governor may have had a reason why maybe they were not performing well.
I don't know how else you want me to say it. There had been cabinet reshuffle a number of times and at various, even at subnational, at national levels. So I do not say anything that.
Okay, we seem to have a bit of interference with the commissioner's feed. Mr. Eli, the commissioners today have resigned, and these are two commissioners who were part of the 9 who resigned earlier. What do you make of the resignation? Because the commissioner has said that he commends them for resigning. Do you think that this is a loss to Rivers State, especially looking at the political happenings in the state at the moment?
I wouldn't agree it's a loss. I would never agree it's a loss. Rivers State is a sub-fit with human resources. We have enough of human resources in virtually every field. I would rather think it's grounding subordination. Like the commissioner said, Honorable Commissioner for Information said, it is discretionary for the governor to deploy his commissioners as it thinks fit. Now, if you read in between the lines, and if you read letter for letter, literally, the kind of language that was deployed, especially by the commissioner for the man that was deployed from finance to economic empowerment, himself a lawyer too of no mean pedigree, Isaac Kamalu, again my learned senior, with respect to him. It was rejecting his redeployment of our ministry. Kofi, in basic administration, what does that suggest?
You tell me.
Once you resign,
you
resigned for whatever reason, you're caught in between the crisis, as the former Attorney General explained in his own letter. And then you returned to the cabinet. That's enough to even keep you outside. But you are readmitted. And now a minor cabinet reshuffle, when it's done, and then you go back and write to the governor. One wrote directly to the governor, one wrote through to the SSG, rejecting, and I will not go there. And no, it's not done. See, there cannot be two captains in a ship, Kofi. Rivers people elected one governor. His name is Siminalayi Fubara. It doesn't matter what source he came from. It doesn't matter who are his parents. The Constitution recognizes him today as the governor of Rivers State. And there cannot be two content authorities to that authority, to that seat. So you cannot make an appointment and somebody's allegiance is to another person who probably nominated him for the appointment. It's not done. Now, how would that be productivity? You cannot have two masters. You cannot have masters. You serve one per time. So these issues are straightforward. If they resign, the Bible says his office let another take.
Okay.
When Judas left his seat as treasurer of the Privy Council of Jesus Christ, he said, let his office let another take, and they elected Matthias to take over. So in this case, I just want to answer a question directly. Rivers State has enormous manpower.
Okay.
Apart from the ancient history, we have three universities here, at least, and other institutions here, daily channel manpower in the last 20, 25 years or more.
Okay.
So we have enough manpower.
I'll make that about 5 universities. If you add Palmo University and you had maybe Madonna University and maybe a few others. But let's not go there. But it seems you're saying, Mr. Eli, that these commissioners may have been redeployed because obviously, probably the governor did not see them as being loyal to him, and probably maybe saw them as serving two masters. Honorable Commissioner, is that something that may have been at the back of the governor's mind in redeploying these two commissioners from very sensitive ministries like finance and law? Yeah.
Even though the governor didn't come out to say specifically the reasons, but I want to, in my own way of reading the governor, I would rather think that the governor reassigned them for optimum performance.
Okay. But you expressed happiness that they had resigned. I would have thought maybe you would be sad since they are members of your team.
No. I said that it is good that they honorably resigned. If the governor sacked them, it would have been put in another way to paint a lurid picture of the government. But I'm saying that it was good that they resigned on their own. Recall that these two commissioners were part of the 9 that earlier resigned, and by the intervention of Mr. President, the governor had to reabsorb them again. So that they have on their own volition decided to leave, I think it's quite salutary. You know, I mean, rather than pretend to be part of a system that truly your spirit and every part of you and all that you would ordinarily have loved to contribute, you're not able to do. So that's why I commended them for resigning. I could not have, there was nothing I could have done. I could not have cried that they left. Because like my co-panelist is saying that Rivers State is endowed with very quality people, and I'm sure, like they have left now, others may be jostling for that position. I'm sure that those who will come will also do justice to what they have failed to do.
All right. Honorable Commissioner, thank you. Mr. Siminalayi as well. We'll be back after a short commercial to continue this very interesting conversation right here on Plus Politics. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Politics HQ right here on News Central TV. I'm Kofi Patil. Still with us, we have the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communication, Rivers State, Warri Senator Joe Johnson. We have lawyer and public affairs analyst, Mr. Sogbere, both from Rivers State, here to talk about the recent development in the governance of Rivers State, where two key commissioners in Governor Fubara's cabinet, both of whom were part of the 9 who earlier resigned in the midst and the heat of the Rivers State political battle between FCT Minister and former Governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, and the current governor, his successor, Siminalayi Fubara. They both resigned and were later reappointed following the intervention of Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Both men have now resigned following their redeployment. We're talking about Zacchaeus Adango, who was Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Rivers State, and Isaac Kamalu, who was the Commissioner for Finance in Rivers State. Both gentlemen were lawyers. I want to go, before I go back to Mr. Eli, Honorable Commissioner Joe Johnson,
Yeah.
were these two commissioners, Kamalu and Adango, at any point conducting themselves in a way that showed that they were not team players on Governor Fubara's cabinet?
Well, I run the Ministry of Information, and in the various ministries, I want to believe that the best successor would be the governor. But if you ask me, we've had 2 ESCO meetings this year. The last 2 ESCO meetings, they were all in attendance. Yes, they were all in attendance, and they made contributions. So, and I want to believe that this is the part they have decided to do, and nobody should stop any man. Any man who is in unemployment is at liberty to either throw in the towel or continue. But the good thing going for us is that we have a governor who is, I don't know how to, is a man of a special kind, very enduring, can take what most men wouldn't take. In fact, the first shocker I got was when he honorably received back these commissioners, and one would have expected that to whom much is given, much should have been expected. And the governor is somebody that I'm sure that you may not find 2 of his kind, in this country. But here we are, with a young man that, so has left a lot of latitude for everybody to manifest, express properly. Yeah.
Are you saying that they didn't live up to expectation, and they took advantage of the governor's, the latitude of the governor, that he gave?
So, sorry, I didn't get the question.
Yeah, are you saying that the 2 gentlemen, the 2 commissioners, did not live up to expectation?
No. I'm saying that they had no reason to resign because the governor gave them a wonderful reception. They returned, 9 of them returned, went back to their positions. And if for any reason the governor has discovered that there is something that needs to be done, after all, we don't have a commissioner for employment generation. We don't have that. We don't have a commissioner in special duties. And if you are a commissioner for special duties and you work directly in the office of the governor, I think it's more honorable. In my opinion, working directly in the office of the governor with the governor. If they were to be enemies of the governor, I'm sure that it would keep them at a very long distance. But
okay.
Here he has brought Professor Dango to be commissioner for special duties right in the office of the governor. And the other commissioner who was in finance will go to employment generation where there's no commissioner. It's not as if any commissioner was removed, but these are ministries that had no commissioners. And I'm surprised that they had to do this part. But they are men of honor, and I commend them.
Okay. All right. So, Gwela, these commissioners rejected. I want us to look at their letters of resignation. It was strongly worded. This is the one from the Honorable Commissioner, former Commissioner for Finance, Isaac Kamalu, who titled his notice of resignation as Commissioner and member of the Rivers State Executive Council. And he went on to say that he rejects his redeployment. It's something that one may not expect from a commissioner, of that caliber, except, of course, there's some sort of bad blood. Also for Professor Adango, he says notice of rejection of deployment and resignation. So it shows that there was obviously some bad blood. Now, the Honorable Commissioner is not giving us anything to chew on, but MU said that you can't serve two masters. So I want you to dig deeper into what you were talking about. Sir.
Kofi, first and foremost, the preambles to this whole drama is settled. In their first resignation letters, before they were reabsorbed, they made it clear that they were leaving the cabinet on account of the political differences in the states. Not because the governor was incompetent, not because there was any crisis of confidence in their own capacity by the person of the governor. They were simply caught up in the lines of the fight between two friends, two brothers, two Rivers men, the former governor and the incumbent governor, and tried to side with the other. Just like in the House of Assembly, 32 members were elected to represent 32 constituencies, and 27 were elected to go the way of partition. As a speaker, they left for the APC. The APC has no seats in the House of Assembly either too. In the House of Representatives, same 2023 elections, the PDP won 11 seats out of 13. The APC had one, Labour Party had one. None of those 11 of the PDP moved to the APC. In the Senate, 3 were elected for Rivers State from the PDP to represent Rivers State. Not one moved to the APC. So clearly, the line of loyalty shows who is going to at times. So for these commissioners, things happen. So look at that letter again from Kamalu. The language, the diction. The literary students are mindful of what I use as words. If you read one of those paragraphs where it was emphasizing rejection, it almost like saying that thing twice, like a repetition for emphasis. And then somewhere trying to like ask the governor to respectfully refer, whatever. It was actually directing the governor, his principal. That's not the language of communication for a subordinate and a boss.
So you're saying this is all political? All that's playing out is political?
It is politics, and there's no name to call it. Now, we're saying that what about this happened? When they came back, the Honorable Commissioner of Bearing Witness, they were received into cabinet with open arms. There were 9 of them. One, my friend and my brother, Dr. George Kelly, resigned when he got an appointment in Abuja as director of
Border
Community Development Agency.
Yeah.
So he left. And I'm not sure the governor rejected his resignation. I'm also not aware that the governor replaced him at the moment with another commissioner for works. I'm not aware. So this is quite clear. I do not know if these ones too have an appointment about now tomorrow in Abuja, because it's the character of my government, my party, to make appointments for the opposition in our status. But it's up to them. But see, the language of resignation here, particularly for the Honorable Commissioner former Commissioner for Finance, the letter was not really long and lengthy. It was somewhere it was saying, it was asking the governor, I think.
We'll come to that shortly. Interesting that you've taken us to that, but I'll come back to. I want to bring the commissioner in at this point. The governor has been accused, the Honorable Commissioner, by Isaac Amalu of lying about the state's internal generated revenue. Last week, when the governor hosted members of the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts, he told them that he had taken within 1 year the internally generated revenue of River State from 11 billion naira, where he met it under Yeson Wike, to between 26 and 27 billion naira. And this is what Kamalu is saying. He's saying that, number one, that among several others, we successfully carried out the following: initiating and supporting existing policy frameworks, enhanced internally generated revenue. That's under Wike, when he was commissioner under Wike. He says this, with necessary adjustments made on some of the programs, led to increase in internally generated revenue receipts. The steady rise has been on for some years, now culminating in what the state is presently generating through, though not the figures erroneously claimed in the media. So this is what he's saying. Did Governor Fubara inflate those figures he presented announced last week?
The governor is not a man of perfect. He's not a man. He's a man that his word is like a bank. What do you call it? A banker's check. You know, if he talks, particularly that he's an accountant, he will not give any fallacy. And for anybody to think that what the governor said is anything to doubt, well, the books are there. I'm happy that Isaac Kamalu, the former commissioner for finance, also was part of the system up to the point that statement was made, and he never made any observation as to whether what the governor was saying had anything to do with something out of the world. But I want to believe strongly that we're all here for service. And if a man is posted to a place and he probably thinks that he will not be able to fit in, the best thing, the honorable thing to do is to leave. This is not the first time that commissioners are leaving. We had a commissioner for power who left even before, from the outset of this regime, Professor Henry Ugiri. He had a federal appointment. We had a commissioner for works who also was a returning commissioner and got appointed as a DG, like you have mentioned. So I don't think that this whole thing should be what we should be dwelling on. We have quite a lot of advancements we have made in the state. I thought that that's where we should be looking at what has this government done, where are we going to, and all that, rather than begin to look at spilled milk. I don't think that is anything to bother with. People have resigned. I've even heard of the deputy governor that resigned. So if a commissioner resigns, it shouldn't really be a news. There are commissioners that resigned even in the last government. I remember Dr. Austin Tam George was commissioner for information. He resigned at some point. So what's all this hullabaloo about two commissioners leaving? I want to think that there are better things that we can do with our time than what we had moved on.
Mr. Commissioner, we'll come back to you, and of course, Mr. Sobeyala as well. We'll come back to you for your thoughts on some of the allegations made by Kamalu and Dango. In a matter of seconds, we want to take a break and we pay our bills. So when we return, we continue with the conversation right here on Politics HQ. Welcome back. It's still Politics HQ, right here on News Central Television. I'm Kofi Bartels. We still have the Honorable Commissioner for Information, River State, Wari Senabo, Joe Johnson. We still have lawyer and public affairs analyst, Sogbe Eli, also joining us via video link as we look at the latest developments in the politics of River State, of course, with the redeployment of two key commissioners who are said to be loyalists of former governor and minister of the FCT, on Wike, by Governor Fubara, and of course, a subsequent resignation in very strong words that they use in their resignation letters of those two commissioners. Professor Zacchaeus Adango, former commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of River State, and Mr. Isaac Kamalu, former commissioner for Finance in River State. Mr. Sobeyala, I want to come to you. The issue of overstating River State's internally generated revenue, where do you stand on this? Because as I said earlier, in his letter, Isaac Kamalu says that the governor made some erroneous claims about the figures in the media.
Well, Kofi, the first thing to ask is, was the commissioner an alter ego of the governor while he was in the cabinet? He was commissioner for finance. And if he had any issues with the figures that the governor had claimed, he never came public with them. We only saw it in his letter of resignation, which for me is a hideous thing to do. First, there is an accountant general of River State. So in the finance reporting structure of the government of River State, is not the only official holder standing. There's a permanent secretary minister of finance, an accountant general of the states. Of course, he's a commissioner for finance. Okay? The governor too had come through the ranks as a civil servant, career civil servant, who would also become an accountant general of the states. So he's used to the financial system of the state, including financial reporting. So if there's anything that is at variance, there's also what they call the Auditor General of the state. I do not think that the Commissioner for Finance did justice to the issue by playing to the gallery and come to the public to make properly cast aspersions on the governor in terms of disparity that kind of like draw attention to the fact that the disparity exists or the governor lied. Meanwhile, the governor was emphatic about the figures of the IGR now when he was addressing the members of the National Assembly who came on the course visit. What the commissioner or the resigned commissioner did not do was to show us his own figures. In his own letter that, look, Mr. Governor, contrary to what he claims about the IGR, this is where we are. He went on the journey of polishing his credentials as the one who was probably in the engine room for building up the IGR. I read that letter and I smiled. He has no finance background for information. He's a lawyer like me and headed the bureaucracy. He also forgot that at the time he's talking about this current governor was also either a permanent secretary minister of finance or Accountant General. And at the time he was claiming that he was building capacity to raise the revenues that way. So for me, this is as simple. It's all down to politics. If you go to that paragraph 4 of that letter of resignation by Kamalu, you see alluded to the point that there were like minds who resigned the last time out. Like minds on account of the political differences. So it is, again, politics. And that's why if the governor in his wisdom reassigns Kamalu to Ministry of Economic Empowerment, he will say he will not go there. Now, if he has that genius of raising the figures in Ministry of Finance of the IGR, including disagreeing with the governor on the exact figures, we'll have higher unemployment in River State.
Okay.
Determined by the government that is served the last time out.
All right. So
why don't you go to the Ministry of Employment Empowerment and bring that same journalists to bear so you can have more River youth employed?
All right. So thank you very much. I'll come back to you. Honourable Commissioner, following on what Sobeyalai said, the source of this, increase in intelligence-generated revenue in River State is also subject of Isaac Amalu's resignation letter. We all know the Soku oil fields case that was on in the years of Yeson Wike, the dispute between Bayelsa and River State. We're also aware of the recovery of the state oil fields. He points that out, and a dispute or disagreement between Imo State and River State. The claim, successful claim that is against the international oil companies, IOCs, also recoveries arising from 13% derivation. I know that under Yeson Wike, the River State government also went to court, took the federal government to court regarding value-added tax and one. Would you say that the success being enjoyed by Governor Fubara is down to the efforts and the victories won, under Yeson Wike, talking about the IGR?
Well, without sounding like a broken record, I like to say that there are things that are indications that there are improvements all around, particularly that a fortnight ago, we awarded a contract of about 80 billion naira, and we paid 50% of that sum from our internally generated. Doesn't that give you an indication that there's something that this government has done which was probably not done in the past? Last week, Isaac Kamalu was in the meeting in the State ESCO, last week Tuesday, if I remember correctly. He was seated 3 seats away from me, and he was the one who moved the motion for adjournment of the ESCO. Isaac Kamalu was there when we awarded another contract. We re-awarded another contract that failed in 2017 to another firm, and we approved to pay 50% of the sum of that contract. We have also said that we are not borrowing money. It is from our internally generated. We are about flagging off the, the Trans-Calabari Road, which spans from Rumolumeni up to Tombia down to Bakana. And we have said that we will also fund that project from our internally generated. Does that not show you that there's something that there's a turnaround in our internally generated. Now, let me not even consider, I don't want to believe Isaac's story. Because if you want to know a gentleman, take his antecedents and place side by side with the current. When he resigned the first time, when he left with the other commissioners, if you bring his reasons then and just oppose it with the reasons now, you know that there is a total departure from what he's saying now. Now, if you had any reason, it's more than 1 week His Excellency hosted members of the National Assembly. Why did you not come up with any objection, if you had any? But I can tell you, just like Subaya had said, the Ministry of Finance, that chain has a permanent secretary, there's an accountant general, there's an auditor general. These are people who will be able to give facts and figures as to what is happening in the ministry. So I think that Isaac may just be may have been an outsider if my observation serves me right.
Okay.
To be able to make the kind of allusions that he had made in his resignation letter.
Okay, so Honorable Commissioner, you're saying that there was something that wasn't happening before, before Governor Fubara came in, that's happening now. Yes. That's led to the increased IGR, not necessarily the VAT, the Sukhoi wells, and so on and so forth. But our money is not coming in from the Sukhoi wells, the state oil fields, and others.
I am not an accountant to be able to say or put the finger on where monies are coming from. The chief accounting officer of the state, who is the governor, who is also a technocrat, who had at one time been accountant general of the state, has said pointedly that, look, I have increased my IGR. I had to rejig, using his language, I had to rejig my IGR. Now we used to navigate between 12 to 13 billion. I was able to shoot it up to 27 billion, between 25 and 27 billion. And we are paying what the past government would borrow money to do. We increased the salaries of civil servants, over 50,000 civil servants. We didn't borrow money. We gave 100,000 naira across board. We didn't borrow money. We are doing major projects in schools, social infrastructure, the agri sector. We're trying to upscale quite a lot of things. We're not borrowing money. The only money we borrowed was 200 billion, which we took to the assembly, got approval. The assembly gave approval for us to pay 77%. That's the same assembly that has come out, turned around now to say that they are changing the mobilization fee. It will now be 20% and all that. So we have seen all the major detractors that are trying to ensure that this government does not succeed, but God pass them.
All right. Interesting. So, Bella, you're a lawyer. I want you to give me your thoughts on what Professor Zacharias Adango, the now resigned Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Rivers State, said. In paragraph 4 of his letter, he says, and I quote, it is important to mention that the governor of Rivers State had in the past couple of weeks willfully interfered with the performance of my duties as the Honorable Commissioner, Attorney General Commissioner for Justice, Rivers State, by directing me not to defend, oppose, or appear in suits instituted by the Honorable Attorney General and the government of Rivers State, by persons admittedly had and sponsored by the governor or government of Rivers State. How do you view this interference, or alleged interference, if it is true, by a governor on his attorney general? Is it acceptable?
First, Kofi, it's unfortunate that he made an allegation that by persons sponsored by the governor. It's incumbent on him to clear the allegation about the governor directing him not to oppose suits filed by persons sponsored by the governor. So the governor will sponsor people to file suits against the Rivers State government that he heads. Is that what the Attorney General is saying? That the governor would use Rivers State government money to finance litigation against the state government and direct the Attorney General not to defend? What can be more incongruous with respect to the immediate powers of Attorney General? Now let's face these issues. The Constitution provides for the powers, we call it non-prosecute powers, which are exclusive to the Attorney General of a state or of a federation, to commence, to take over, to continue, or to discontinue proceedings in court, particularly criminal proceedings.
Yes.
And those powers, the Constitution does not define how they exercise, whether the governor directs Attorney General at the state level or the president directs Attorney General at the federal level. No. You see what's happening right now at the national level? The EFCC is after Governor Yaya Bello, former Governor Yaya Bello. And of course, you had what Attorney General of the Federation has said against those who want to obstruct justice. Are we saying that it's President Bola Tinubu that's restricting him or not restricting him for his acting that way? There's a lot that Professor Dango has not told us. But again, I want to take it from the perspective of politics. They are not ready to serve this government under this governor. That's why you find these arguments, these alibis, these excuses flying left, right, center.
All right.
They're not ready to serve.
Okay, so please hold the thought. Yeah, please hold the thought. We want to take another break. We'll be right back to continue our conversation. For those of you watching, please stay with us. Welcome back. Before we round off, I just want to give the Honourable Commissioner a final chance a chance to answer this question because it's important. Honourable Commissioner, we're aware of what's been going on in the River State House of Assembly. Governor Fubara withheld his assent to, or his assent to a bill forwarded to him, just like he did earlier this year. Why did the governor refuse to sign into law and enact the River State Local Government Amendment Bill as passed by the State House of Assembly? Sir.
I had an interest.
All right, sorry about that. So I'm just asking why, in your opinion, the governor did not sign the local government bill sent to him by the State House of Assembly, the one that was recently enacted by the Assembly, vetoed by them.
So what's the question?
Okay, why did the governor withhold his assent to the bill, the local government bill sent to him by the River State House of Assembly?
It's for reasons. Hello?
Oh, yes, we can hear you, Honourable Commissioner. Please go on.
I said it's constitutional. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the 1999 Constitution, clearly states that any act of an assembly or the National Assembly that is in conflict with the Constitution of the Federal Republic shall, to its extent, remain invalid.
Okay. Honourable Commissioner, we seem to have lost your...
But I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you now. Please go on.
I'm saying that we have the Constitution of the Republic does not... Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, Honourable Commissioner, I'll come back to you. I want to give you a second or two to attend to the issue, and then I'll come back to you just to rejig, like you said, rejig, your network, and I'll come back to you. So, well, you're smiling. So, what's your view? Because the Honourable Commissioner is saying that the bill, the local government bill, may have been inconsistent with the Constitution. That's why the governor refused to sign that. Are you of the same opinion?
I'll be more radical about my response. In law, you do not put nothing on something. Sorry, something on nothing and expect it to stand. Who are those who are amending the laws? Do they have a constitutional grounds? Do they have a valid grounds in law to sit as an assembly? They don't have. So what are they amending? Look at them, look at the pictures there. These are guys already caught up by Section 109, Sub 1, Paragraph G. The matter is sub judice in court, so I will not make any further comment on that. But to the extent that they have no local standing and have been badly damaged in law by this single action that is shown on the screen, they can't amend the law for River State. Their loyalty is not to the Constitution, it's not to River State, it's to one individual. So they can't amend laws to suit their whims and caprice. So I won't even go the route of the commissioner. He's just being modest. The assembly can't do that because I speak to you, that matter is sub judice on the issue of amendment of that local government law. before Justice IPC Igwe of the High Court of Rivers State on the 15th of April, Monday last week. He granted an injunction restraining the House from proceeding in a matter that was filed by two local government chairmen, Enyada Kukigam of Obobonkoro and the sister LG Bonny, asking the courts to interpret their tenure. Now, that matter was adjourned to the 22nd, which was 2 days ago. Instead of that, House of Assembly, as they call themselves, to proceed to court, having been put on notice to defend actions. They went ahead to ambush the judiciary by pretending to have overridden the governor's veto. These are attempts to create platforms for anarchy. These are attempts to ambush the constitution.
Okay.
These are attempts to force a federal company on the governor.
All right.
And make him become completely powerless at the slow.
Okay, Mr. Eli.
Nigeria must rise up and correct this.
Mr. Eli, hold the thought. Yeah.
Too long.
Thank you, Mr. Eli. I want to give the commissioner, because of time, a final thought. Say, Mr. Commissioner, you were given reasons why the governor refused to append his signature to the local government bill sent to him by the House of Assembly. Sir.
No, my brother Sube had already dealt with it. I don't think there's anything to bother with it. I'm also aware that there are many other litigations, a plethora of litigations following that decisions. The decisions made both on the local government service chairmen and councillors and the River State House of Assembly Service Commission, for which they went ahead yesterday to ambush, attempting to carry out what I describe as a civilian coup, to take over power from the governor. They had appointed, they had screened, they even went ahead to inaugurate yesterday and gave offices, something that is unheard of. I've never heard it in any part of the world, not to talk about in this country. So it's also for us to see the level of rascality that is going on, and I know that it won't stand in law.
Okay. Honorable Commissioner, Wari Senabo Joe Johnson, and lawyer and public affairs analyst Sobela, it's been great to see both of you again and to have you on the program tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, my name is Kofi Bartels, and of course, for the second day running, we've had our time engaged by the politics of Rivers State. We'll keep an eye on that one. Of course, talk about the latest in politics of Nigeria. We'll return tomorrow right here on News Central Television. Good night.